In World War II, Nazi U-boats were ordered to die, never surrender. So when Americans captured this one alive, they knew something was very wrong. April 4th, 1944. The Atlantic Ocean, 800 miles west of Cape Verde. The sea is steel gray and restless, slapping against the hull of the escort carrier USS Guadalcanal. Below the flight deck, sailors grip coffee mugs with numb fingers as wind screams through the rigging. Somewhere beneath this rolling water, a German U-boat is hunting or being hunted. Lieutenant Albert David, U.S. Navy, stands on the bridge wing, binoculars pressed to his eyes. He has spent months rehearsing a scenario that was never supposed to happen. Not on paper, not in doctrine, not in the cautious, blood-soaked logic of the Battle of the Atlantic. Today, he can feel it coming. The capture that was never meant to happen. The Hunter-Killer Group Task Group 22.3 has been sweeping this patch of ocean for days. Its mission is simple and brutal. Find German submarines and destroy them. No prisoners, no prizes. Just wreckage, oil slicks, and silence. The group's flagship, Guadalcanal, is supported by 5 destroyer escorts: USS Chatelaine, Pillsbury, Pope, Flaherty, and Jenks. They move like wolves, spreading sonar nets, launching patrol aircraft, listening for the faint metallic heartbeat of a U-boat engine. At 11:21 hours, the Chatelaine's sonar operator stiffens. Contact, bearing 090, strong return. Below the Atlantic surface, U-505, a Type 9XC submarine, is already damaged, haunted by mechanical failures and bad luck that have plagued her for months. Her commander, Kapitan Lieutenant Harold Lang, knows the sound. He's heard it before. This time, it's too close. Depth charges explode. The ocean convulses. Light bulbs shatter inside the U-boat. Gauges spin wildly. A valve ruptures. Then another. Chlorine gas hisses from damaged batteries, burning lungs and eyes. Auftauchen! Surface! Lang orders. He has no choice. At 11:44 hours, a gray conning tower punches through the waves. On the Chatelaine, alarms scream. There she is. American guns open fire instantly. 20mm and 40mm shells rake the deck. German sailors pour out of the conning tower, some on fire, some diving blindly into the sea. The U-boat circles wildly, engine still turning, rudder jammed. Standard procedure demands one thing: sink her. But Lieutenant Commander Daniel V. Gallery, the task group's commander, sees something else. The submarine isn't sinking. It's still moving, and impossibly it looks intact. Board her, now. Gallery orders over the radio. On the destroyer escort Pillsbury, Lieutenant Albert David doesn't hesitate. He gathers 8 men. No armor, no breathing gear, no backup. They leap into a whaleboat and race toward the drifting enemy submarine. As they climb onto the slick, blood-smeared deck of U-505, the Atlantic heaves beneath them. The conning tower hatch is open. Inside, it's dark. David descends first. The interior smells of diesel, sweat, and fear. Water is rising. Machinery hums. Somewhere deep in the hull, demolition charges are ticking, set to destroy the submarine and everything inside her. Find the charges. Kill the engines. David orders. Sailors scramble through narrow corridors, slipping on oil and seawater. One man shuts down the diesel engines. Another rips out firing mechanisms from scuttling charges just seconds before detonation. Then David sees it. Locked inside a metal cabinet. Code books. Navigation charts. Weather ciphers. Enigma-related materials. The holy grail of naval intelligence. They haul them out armful by armful. Above deck, American sailors stare in disbelief as the Stars and Stripes is raised over the captured submarine. It's the first enemy warship seized by the U.S. Navy on the high seas since the War of 1812. But no one celebrates. Not yet, because the most dangerous discovery hasn't even been noticed. Deep inside U-505, behind sealed compartments and classified equipment lockers, lies something Allied planners have feared but never touched. A weapon designed to change the war beneath the waves, and now, for the first time, it belongs to the enemy. Hitler's secret weapon beneath the waves. The moment U-505 is secured, the order goes out: absolute silence. No radio reports, no press, not even a mention in routine fleet traffic. The captured German sailors are isolated and told the submarine sank with all hands. If Berlin learns the truth, everything inside this steel hull becomes worthless. Towed across the Atlantic under a canvas of secrecy, U-505 arrives in Bermuda, then later the United States. Intelligence officers descend on her like surgeons, mapping every wire, every valve, every switch. What they uncover is staggering. First, the acoustic homing torpedo, the T-5 Zonkonig. End quote. Unlike conventional torpedoes, this weapon listens. It hunts the sound of Allied propellers, curving through the water like a predator. In recent months, it has torn through escort screens, sinking destroyers that never saw it coming. Now, the Allies can study it, learn its weaknesses, develop countermeasures, and save hundreds of ships and thousands of lives. Then comes the snorkel system, allowing U-boats to run diesel engines while submerged, drastically reducing exposure to air patrols. Engineers trace its limitations, airflow issues, and vibration signatures. Radar detection gear follows. METOX and Naxos receivers devices that warned U-boat commanders when Allied radar swept the sea. Understanding them means turning invisibility into vulnerability. But the crown jewel lies in the documents. Cipher tables, short signal codebooks, operational instructions written in precise German script. While British codebreakers at Bletchley Park have already cracked much of Enigma, these materials confirm solutions, fill gaps, and accelerate decryptions across the Atlantic theater. Convoys reroute with eerie precision. Wolfpacks sail into ambushes they never see coming. In Berlin, Admiral Karl Donitz senses something is wrong. Too many submarines are vanishing. Orders are being anticipated. Safe waters are suddenly lethal. He never learns the truth. Because officially, U-505 never survived. Her crew is held in a secret POW camp in Louisiana, isolated for the rest of the war. Letters are censored. Red Cross inspections are blocked. Silence becomes another weapon. By war's end, the Battle of the Atlantic has turned. Allied losses plummet. U-boat sinkings skyrocket. The ocean, once Germany's hunting ground, becomes a grave. Today, U-505 rests quietly in the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, painted gray, inert, harmless. Children walk beneath her hull. Tourists snap photos. Few realize how close they are standing to a weapon that once threatened to strangle an entire continent. Or how, on one violent day in 1944, a handful of sailors ignored the rules of war and changed its outcome forever. Legacy and reflection. When the war ended, U-505 became more than a historical artifact. It was a symbol of ingenuity, bravery, and the unpredictability of warfare. The men who boarded her were celebrated privately but remained largely anonymous in the public eye. Their actions, risky and extraordinary, had altered the course of history. Decades later, when U-505 was placed in the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, visitors would walk beneath her steel hull, unaware of the deadly intelligence she had once carried. Children would peer into her conning tower, imagining adventure, oblivious to the torpedoes, codes, and battles that had defined her service. For historians, engineers, and naval enthusiasts, she remained a vivid reminder of the thin line between life and death at sea and the profound consequences of courage in a time of war. Lieutenant Albert David, who had once descended into her dark corridors, later reflected on that day. In interviews, letters, and private conversations, he emphasized the combination of skill, luck, and resolve it took to succeed. He spoke not of glory, but of responsibility, the burden of knowing that their actions had saved countless lives and shifted the trajectory of the war. The ocean continued to move, indifferent to human history. Yet in the annals of naval warfare, U-505 stands as a testament to what is possible when courage, intelligence, and chance collide. It reminds us that wars are not won solely by numbers or firepower, but by insight, daring, and the moments when ordinary men make extraordinary decisions. Epilogue: The Silent Hero. Standing before U-505 Chicago, one can almost feel the ghosts of the Atlantic around her. The submarine is silent, immobile, stripped of its weapons. Yet, in the minds of those who understand its story, it hums with history. Every rivet, every hatch, every corroded bulkhead is a reminder of a day when the impossible became reality, when a handful of Americans captured a Nazi submarine alive, and with it, unmasked Hitler's secret weapon. It is a story of ingenuity, fear, courage, and consequence, a narrative of human endeavor entwined with the tides of history. And though decades have passed, the lesson endures. Sometimes, the most decisive battles are fought not in the open, but in silence, beneath the waves, in the dark corridors of steel, where men confront danger, destiny, and the unknown.